Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So a couple of days ago I relaunched my blog and it's now in Astro. The reason I did this is so I can have a proper landing page, components showing the recent promotions that I'm running for my courses or my books, and the whole thing is now in Astro. Inside Astro, web pages are server-side rendered, so if you run npm run build for your Astro project, it will generate static pages. But as I mentioned, I wanted to have a component that shows the limited offer that I'm running on one of my courses. So this is the component that you can see on my website. This is running the development version of the blog locally on my machine. And as you can see, this is showing a static timestamp right now, but I want this to dynamically update on the client and count down from a time that I specified in the future. So this is not moving right now because the code that should do the countdown is inside the use effect, as you can see it right here. Now the thing is that when this component is server-side rendered, use effect is not run. So what you get back from the server is essentially the time that we recorded in the use state at the time when this page was rendered on the server. Inside Astro, it's really easy to turn this into a client-side component. You just have to add client load to the component where you want to achieve client-side interactivity. And if I switch back to the web page, and you see, even without hitting refresh, this is now updating. But this is where the error happens, and I'm getting this, an error occurred during hydration message. So the hydration error essentially happens because the HTML that you get back from the server is different from the HTML that React renders on the client. I render a time on the server using this format time method, and when the web page gets rendered on the client, of course, a couple of seconds elapsed since the server response came, and this leads to a mismatch between the HTML that came back from the server and the HTML that got rendered on the client. You can also check this inside the network tab. So if I open network and click localhost, I will see the entire HTML that came back after server-side rendering. And if I search for countdown, I will see this component at the state it was rendered on the server. So while that was happening, this was the exact time. Of course, by the time React rendered the same component, this was a different time, probably a couple of seconds less, and there you go, you get a hydration error. By the way, I'm experimenting with this new video format. Let me know in the comments below if you like this, and the zooms and the transitions make the video more engaging and easier to follow. Thank you. So back to the hydration errors. There are a couple of ways to solve this. Probably the easiest one is just to add here a new state. So for example, we can create a state called isLoading and set this initially to true. And once we get into the use effect, we will set it to false. Because we know that use effect runs only on the client side, we can return null from this component instead of returning the time until we actually render this on the client. So you can set here something like if isLoading return null. Save this component, go back to the page, let's clear the console, hit reload, and the error disappeared. So this is one solution. Of course, it's a little bit of additional code, and it makes your component that was pretty simple and straightforward so far a little bit more complex, but it's not too bad. However, there is an even better solution that's something specific to Astro. So in Astro, you have a couple of attributes that help you control how your component is rendered. And these are these client components that we already used, for example, the client load, that is client idle, and client visible, client media. The one we are interested in this case is client only. With client only, you skip the HTML's server-side rendering, and this is exactly what we need. So looks like we can achieve the same thing without an additional use state. The only thing we have to take care of is when you use client only, you have to specify here which framework you are using to render your component. In our case, this is React. Now after hitting save, let's go back to our site, hit reload, and the hydration error is also gone. We have this interactive component on the client that re-renders each second, but without the additional React state. So this is it for this short video. Let me know how you dealt with hydration errors in the past. If you want to see similar content in the future, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.